Alright, timestamp July 11th, 2025, about 1:20 a.m. Acorn, that is my butt. I'm sitting on a stool at the bar, Leonardo Station, and my pup just kind of get a little closer. Yes, I'm in my 50s. Yes, I know I have to get that work done, but it's going to get done by a professional, not you. Amateur proctologists, you know. That'll end well. So, yeah, just park it, dude. We just went outside. You're good. I just got up a little while ago. Health check. I feel pretty good. Still on the mend from whatever that 48 flu was. I didn't enjoy that. I had the I think it's a Pluto TV I've got running right now, and I've got Twilight Zone going on, which, for the record, my my tuxedo, my black and white cat, seems to enjoy it when I'm running black and white TV. He seems to have a propensity for, if I have like old Doctor Who going, it's like I've made it almost a joke around here that he likes Patrick Troughton. Second Doctor is his doctor, you know. But if I'm running that, or if I'm running Twilight Zone, he will frequently perch himself on the back of the couch, even if I'm not in the room, and be napping with his face pointed at the TV, which, I don't know, it's just like, you like old sci-fi? That's, I can have a cat like that. That's pretty cool. So, it's not my favorite episode, but it is a favorite of mine. Came on, and it always punches me in the gut, man. The Lonely came on, and I just kind of sat there and watched it because it's such a good episode. Such a good episode. You want to talk about being afraid of AI and whether it's friend or foe and all that kind of stuff. The episode, let's see, Twilight Zone premiered October 2nd, 1959. I Am That Dork. That was a pretty early episode, so that might have aired at the end of 1959, or maybe the beginning of 1960. I'm not certain of the air date for that episode. First episode was Where Is Everybody, or Where's Everybody At? I forget. Astronaut wakes up, town, no one there. It's all an experiment, you know. This is into season 1, so it might have been 1960. The weekly show. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But it always breaks my heart. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. That last bit, man. If it were me and I had known what was coming, I would have tried to get the memory chip or something, so that when I got back to Earth, I could maybe put it in, you know, a new one, and kind of try and continue my story with said character, because there's actual emotion there, there's attachment there. That, man, rips the soul. Corey. Again, if you know, you know. If you don't, you're sitting back going, what in the hell is this guy talking about? So, yeah, no, I grew up watching, I was born in 1970. Grew up watching first, second run reruns of Star Trek Classic Series. I was a toddler and I remember watching it with my brother. Sidebar, the Gorn didn't scare me. The Three Witches from Cat's Paw, nightmare fuel. Always had a problem with Macbeth, ever since, you know. But grew up watching the original Star Trek, Twilight Zone, and then of course later in the 70s, you know, we had Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers, Star Wars, of course. But yeah, I was there for it all. I saw A New Hope in theaters 4 times. I was 6. True story. And I remember the lines around the block on 2 of the occasions that we went to see it. Never seen that before in my life. The movie either, but lines like that amount of fervor for a movie, never witnessed that before. It's kind of interesting, you know? If you're a lot younger than me and you're watching this, if I could show you the things that I'd seen with my eyes, I know this is all very Blade Runner, you know, discussion-wise, but I've seen sea beams glisten. Gonna get all Rutger on you. A fabulous movie. Anyway, so okay, between you and me, my God, boy, Acorn has the foulest puppy farts, I think, in the Western Hemisphere. We don't need to dig up dinosaurs for fuel. I guarantee this would run a fleet. Oh my God, son. So, I'm gonna try and recover from that. Oh my God, man. Oh. I'll be right back. Told you. I told you. So we tried one of these. You can see that's a Patriot Pantry Granny's home-style potato soup. Now the whole it's for Patriots. Rah, rah, rah. I know it's a little too right side of thing, not left. If you get my meaning. My parents have, good Lord, in excavation, because we're trying to go through the garage. We're trying to get ready for a garage sale for this weekend. I don't know if we're going to make it. We may have to postpone it for next weekend, just because we're trying to dig through the pile. And the pile has piles. It's obscene. But they've got like 10 of those plastic tote cases of those guys. Some of them are from those. That one is from 2016. Which is interesting. And the other ones they ordered in 2022. So that they would have ordered when King Cheeto got the crown, and then in 22 it would have been the midterm scare. Speculating as to when my parents, avid Fox watchers, would have been scared into ordering a bunch of those things. Because I do believe in prepping and being ready for. I live in Florida, hurricanes. I do believe in that. I don't know that there's an apocalypse coming. In the popular traditional sense. Civil War, which is a really dumb phrase. I know that's what we named a big piece of our American history, but a civil war? It's like pleasant hostility. How does that work? From a language standpoint, how exactly does that work? It was a civil war. The men gathered on the battlefield and made pew-pew sounds at each other. And you dramatically go, "Ooh, you got me." And then afterwards, they had ice cream. Anyway, but yeah, no, because they've got a bunch from 2022. We know that we're gonna hang on to them because hurricane. We're gonna hang on to those. The 2016, we were kind of like, I know that you say these will last 25 years. And bear in mind, if you do pick up any of those kind of things, bear in mind that the whole 25-year thing can be legitimate, but a lot of it depends on your storage. And the reason I say that is my parents had a couple of other cases of 2016 purchased. So they're 9 years old? It's supposed to last 25 years. I'm not faulting the company on this. Please understand. My dad had them in his workshop. It gets to be like 120 degrees and sometimes a very high humidity. They were kind of rancid. You could smell how much you shouldn't eat them through the buckets. Because they come in like a plastic, almost like a pickle, like a 5-gallon bucket kind of thing. You could smell it through the bucket. And it wasn't a, damn, I'm getting hungry. It was a, okay, I'm going to be sick. It was, that kind of difference. So we found, well, Tiny found it, this other Toyota 2016 in the actual garage, which, it's attached to the house. It's a lot better climate control. And we were kind of like, okay, because the other ones were terrifying. We opened it, and neither one of us wanted to, retch immediately. Which, that's a plus, right? When you smell food and you don't feel like maybe puking is the right answer. Things are looking up. So this is the creamy homestyle Granny's. I don't know if she knows if we took her soup or not. Home-style potato soup. Trying to read it through the debris on my bar here. We were like, okay, this seems like a pretty innocuous victim to experiment with. So we got some older canned goods. I'm being real careful about what we eat and what we throw out, because there's some stuff that is still good and some stuff that you shouldn't, So they had in the deep freeze some ham steaks. I think Smithfield or something like that, big old round ham steaks that I thought still the right color. They didn't really look freezer burned beyond repair. I can work with this. I've got a lot of kitchen experience. So I chopped that up, fried it in olive oil with some garlic herb. Used about half of that. Kept it in the oil that I cooked it in the pot. Prepped the soup, and we also put in a can of sliced white potatoes, a half a can of corn, and a half a can of peas and carrots. I made, it's a, at that point it's really a potato soup because it's already a potato base, plus we added a can of potatoes. But then we added a little bit more veg, and then the ham on top was really damn good. Was really damn good. We were both happily surprised. And that was about 10 hours ago. Don't feel any ill effect, so hey, no botulism, whatever. I don't know what would attach itself to that. Ebola, I don't know. But that was really good. We both had seconds, and there's actually a Tupperware with some extras in the fridge. Really quite good. Very thick. Very thick. Manly soup. Patriotic soup. I would like to lodge a complaint for the word patriot. You don't own that, and you're not using it right anyway. Just throwing that out there. I mourn for the word patriot. It has been abused. The guys on J6 were not patriots. The ones defending the Capitol were. Absolutely. The guys attacking it and beating cops over the heads with flagpoles, not patriots. Not patriots. Not revolutionaries either. Insurrectionists. That's the word. Insurrectionist. The hyperventilating dog sounds you may be hearing are not actually my puppy. They are, Trip has been brought back to here. He's the 12-year-old Chihuahua. And I've got him in a crate right now because he's got some of the moist and meaty, like hamburger-like dog food because he's got horrible teeth. So I've got him quarantined in that so that he can eat his own food, and the other dogs and or cats don't go like, hey man, what you got in your bowl, man? And well, it's pretty good. So here's how this is gonna be. Okay? We don't have that discussion in the yard. I heard you've been talking. Huh? Is that true? You've been talking? You stupid? You know who you're messing with? I miss being on stage. That probably shows though, right? Either that or you just think I need a therapist. Maybe both. I don't know. Yeah. So, anyway, didn't get as much done as we wanted to today. A lot of basic chores around the house. We did go through the backup refrigerator and freezer that my parents have in the garage. And we already kind of knew this. I knew this going in. Some of it was a little bit of a surprise to Tiny, although I don't think really that much. Just about everything in the fridge was scary, don't go there. For the main reason that it's doing the math. If it's something that needs to be in the refrigerator, excuse me a moment. Okay, those terrifying sound effects were provided by Trip. I don't even know what that was. Other than, oh my God, scary. Doing his best macaw impression. I'm not sure what that was. Mm. Harry and David, vanilla, and my Burger Time mug. I'm doing the math. Things in... Just drink the water, you're fine. The things in the fridge, they're either frozen dinners that my dad put in there because he was storing his food incorrectly and should be discarded, or they are other foods which are chilled convenience foods or foods for cooking that went into that fridge before January. Likely, because my mom went into the hospital on January 4th and she never came out, basically. So, and my dad used the fridge here in the kitchen. He didn't really put stuff in the fridge out there. I don't even know that he could actually get to it because of, stuff stacked in the way and all that. But yeah, there was a lot of like frozen dinners that should have been frozen. Yogurt, which if it's only a year past its shelf life, I mean, you want cultures, right? So, filled a couple garbage bags. Kind of cutting to the chase there. A couple things dripped. One of them smelled rancid. I would say rancid's probably above putrid, right? My friend Cindy ever watches this, I'm sure she's maybe even more brilliant with language than me. I think we're competitive there, at least. We're competitive. I don't know, because it was tiny, almost wretched. And when you smell something, reminded of a Stephen and Steven sketch. Yeah, look up Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, waiters. Throw those as your keywords on YouTube. So I think back when they were both with Second City. Oh my God. Funny and also tough to watch in certain ways. It's like a scene from Meaning of Life, difficult to watch. But my God, they're good. Oh, they're so good. Funny men. So yeah, I didn't get a whole lot done. And the big thing, and this is what I'm going to do after I finish this recording, I'm going to try and get a hold of my girl, because I texted her all day and didn't really get any response. And she wasn't feeling well, so I have a feeling she's probably just passed out. Kind of sleeping it off. But I'm starting to get a little worried, when somebody hasn't gotten back to you in 12 hours and they pretty much should have had the means to do that. Getting a little worried. And I thought she was coming over today too, which doesn't make it better. So today, as in, within the past 12 hours, and obviously we're not there, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So I know she's a grown up and she may be handling some business, so I'm not too worried, but at the same time, why haven't you at least texted me back? Are you okay? I'm not, over-attached husband or anything, but I'm also a guy with common sense who's wondering why you haven't contacted me back yet. That Chihuahua's just happy to be alive and here. Just wanders around the house with this like happy, surprised look on his face. I'm so glad I'm here. Where am I? Am I here? I think I'm here. You see me? I'm just looking over my list of things to do, and it's terrifying because I feel like it keeps growing. I think if the septic guys don't call me back by like noon today, I think I'm going to call them and say, hey, I got flags and spray paint all over my front yard. They obviously did the permitty thing. Can we do this, please? My back is killing me, and I'd like to be able to start taking daily hot showers again. That would be swell. Helps my back a lot. I have 8 herniated discs, and the hot water is a nice relief. It's a reprieve, especially after lifting boxes and bending, stooping. Very helpful. Since I don't have a masseuse on staff. And I checked on Dad. Dad. Yeah. I don't know that we're going to be ready for Saturday. We're going to try, but I don't know. Oh, I know something that I was gonna share. This is something I talked about the other day, and I said I'll let you know. So we started doing theater it's obviously years ago now, at our hobby shop. And it wasn't my idea. Actually, it wasn't my idea. I was purposefully not trying to influence the conversation, so to speak. So, the hobby shop that my wife and I owned, managed, ran, was called the Comic Shack. And it was in Bradenton, Florida. You can still see remnants of it online. The presence of it, there's still a footprint, fingerprints, whatever you want to call it, out there. It was a real thing. Loved by many, hated by some. That's fine. A lot of people that hung out there considered it a second home, which that makes it kind of special, you know. Yeah, I do miss it. Miss it a lot. But my path is taking me elsewhere, and I know that. I did what damage I could do down there, and I'm supposed to go somewhere else and do some other damage there. I don't know. I go where I'm called, kind of thing. Okay, so it was called the Comic Shack. And initially we were just a comic book and gaming store. That was pretty much it. Still popular hangout for, a fair amount of kids. I say kids, teenagers, 20-somethings, I was feeling naked without my other ring. My amethyst. I love my amethyst. Amethyst is cool. Sarah, we had a phone at the shop because Mama said we could have a phone, and I had a bunch of younger people that would help me run the place, which was good because I'm one dude, and I'm trying to do. I've got my business is 50 miles from my home. I'm trying to keep a house running and a small business and all that. So I had a couple guys that were helping me out. They were helping me run the place. And I'm going to use some real names, some kind of shout outs here. I don't know. Hopefully no one gets mad at me. I don't remember. Okay, so it was called the Comic Shack. And we had kind of a rustic motif comic shack. It was kind of, we had a country rustic vibe as far as our decor. And I don't remember if it was Topher or Tyler that answered the phone on this occasion. But we used to get calls, again, Comic Shack. We got calls periodically, once a week maybe, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. Someone wanting to know, like, who our headliner was going to be on Friday night, or if there was a 2-drink minimum, or if you, I don't know if you're catching on to where I'm going with this. People thought we were a comedy club. People thought they just saw the name and thought we were a comedy club. You know, like, hey, do I need to buy 2 drinks and an entree? Are the tickets free? How much are tickets? Who's your headliner? Do you have any, is this local? Is it open mic? Do you have talent from out of town? Those kind of questions. And again, I don't remember if it was Topher or Tyler, but one of those two had received a call, and it was the whole, hey, how many comedians do you have in your lineup on Friday night? That kind of question. And they were like, no, we're a hobby store, dude, sorry. And they hung up, and they said something to the effect of, maybe we should do a comedy show, like an improv or something. Now, the problem with a suggestion like that is all 3 of us had done improv before. I'd done a lot, and both of those guys had done a fair amount in high school. They were both drama nerds, brilliant young men in their own ways. Brilliant young men. And it was kind of that moment of, that moment when Ray and Egon are talking, and they're like, with all this data and with the right equipment, it's possible we could even capture and maintain ghosts permanently. And Venkman has that business idea. Whoever was that answered the phone said that, and I remember the other 2 of us just kind of looked at each other, at them. It was just kind of that moment of, why don't we? Why don't we? Because we could. We could. We have the right people. We are those people. Huh. And we did. We started doing an improv show. We did our first one. We called it Shack of Fools. It was a play on the Ship of Fools, which, if you understand the concept, some people may not even. Yep, I'm going long again. Some people, and I'll probably break off here, and we'll continue this discussion later. But I know there were probably a lot of people that just Shack of Fools didn't really understand the concept of it. A Ship of Fools is conceptually, the idea is it's a group of people on board a ship that don't actually know what the destination is. So Shack of Fools, we're performers, and we have no idea where the scene is going to go. It was, kind of a play on that concept. And it seemed to work. I'll go into details in the next one, because holy cats, I'm at 34 minutes or whatever. That's a good place to end up. So we started prepping for our first show. To be continued. Yeah. Anyway, again, I feel okay. 90%. Got my sleep. Mostly. Woke up to a brilliant but heart-wrenching Twilight Zone episode. It is hard on the heart, it breaks the heart. It's so sad. It's a boo-hoo and the tears, Maybe a therapist. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, I'm going to probably have a bowl of cereal. Sounds very exciting, I'm sure. And I am having the coffee, yeah. And I'm going to attempt to find my wife. Make sure she's okay. A little concerned. Optimistic, you know? Anyway. And I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, make it a great day.